Insane in the Membrane.
There we are. Right, welcome to Insane in the Membrane with me, Rich Wilson, and Adam Frost. Hello, mate.
How are you, boy?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Do you know what I've just-
Insane. Do you know what? It
Insane in
made
the
me laugh.
Membrane.
Insane in the membrane. Yeah?
Yeah.
My daughter, the 21-year-old, when
Yeah.
emailed through about doing it, she said, Dad, this is right up your street. Just the name. She didn't even research what it was, just the name. That's it. This is going to be your podcast. Bless.
This is it, mate.
But
Well, this
yeah.
is it. Well, I got the details through and I had a look and I was like, this is going to be perfect. Like music, you know, the old shebang, like it's going to be amazing. And I've just done something really stupid though. So I'm up in my loft, right? And we are very lucky to have a room in the loft, right?
Yeah.
And so I was pottering around, I'm getting ready for this, and I'm like, but I forgot my other cup of tea, so it's gone cold. I'm like, I'll take that down and I'll go and get another one. I've gone all the way downstairs. I've dropped tea all over the stairs. It's gone everywhere, right? And then I'm like, I've got a sink right there. Why don't I tip the tea in the sink? I'm at that. I'm just doing.
It's an age thing, boy, isn't it? That's like, do you go to the top of the stairs now and then go, hold on, why did I come up here?
All the time.
Yeah.
I'm in rooms I didn't even know I had. Okay,
no, exactly. It's like, and then you're thinking, actually, if I just stand here for a moment, maybe it'll come to me. Because what you don't want to do is run back down the stairs to all of a sudden realise actually why you were meant to go back up the stairs, and then you have to use more energy to go back up the stairs.
This is it. I've got time. I've got energy to expend like that. I've already made the effort to come up in the first place.
Exactly.
And I think it's just like you say, it's an age thing. When like you know, you've not been well. You've got fibromyalgia, so that affects what's going on, and so I understand that. I've got sleep apnea, so I've got the machine that helps me with the breathing. So I understand. I've got the sort of the brain, so I understand the brain fog type of thing. But do you have any way of sort of coping with it? Do you have to leave notes for yourself, or?
Yeah, to be fair, mate, the fibromyalgia thing I got diagnosed with like 20 plus years ago, and I think I've pretty much got my head around that. That in a way, they think that. So I did a film about it for Morning Live, and they sent me to put my tea down, boy. They sent me to Liverpool, and anyway, I was talking to this professor fella, and we did the film, and then I'd sort of talked about how I dealt with it, blah 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 blah, and when my old man passed away, which was 2012, I was about 3 stone heavier. I wasn't sleeping. I had all those prime things. And the next day, after he passed away, after about the 18 pints that I drank, to get seeing the old boy off, I got up and started running.
Oh yeah.
My lot think I've gone mental. He's lost it. He's actually gone now. That's it. The next place is an asylum. He ain't going anywhere else. Anyway, I kept running to the point where they all call me Forrest Gump.
I was going to say.
They call me Forrest. You know, they do. And matey reckons. And then actually, I put that into a rhythm in my life. And he thinks that I retrained my brain.
Oh, wow. Right,
I know, which is a bit... But actually, weirdly, I feel worse if I don't exercise. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. I understand that. It's funny, isn't it, when they talk about... This is the thing I've noticed, is that people that get to a certain age, and I'm 54, and people around me are already going, oh, well, you know, when you get to our age, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I'm like, for a bit, I was believing it. I was going with it. But then wait a minute. No, that's not true. Yeah. You can do whatever you want. It's all in your mind. You've got to do it. And
just got to have a go.
Yeah, and like you said, I'm not going to be running any marathons anytime soon. But
no, me either.
But just go to the gym and just take care of yourself a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
You start to do, like we've taken the
Mickey
earlier.
Do you think though do you think the body tells you that though? I don't know about you, but if I think back to 80s, 90s, probably early 2000s, I could hammer an awful lot of alcohol and and carry on regardless. Whereas now, no, that takes a lot longer. So
It,
actually, do you know what?
yeah.
I'm thinking it's not worth the bother.
Well, I
You
think
know?
that's it, innit? I really have to weigh it up. I'm like, is it going to
Yeah,
be worth? Is this session I'm about to embark upon going to be worth the 4 days it's going to take me to
e-
get over it now?
exactly.
And so
So
there's a few, yeah. So I prepare for it now. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's my mate's wedding. We'll have a few there.
we'll go every
Yeah,
day. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Whereas I like now, I won't drink as much. In fact, I had a bit of a break from it, but then I'll have a nice bottle of wine.
There you go. Yeah, I think
You know?
that's it as well. Like we get a bit more sophisticated as we get older.
Yeah, we
You know,
do.
yeah, you don't want to
Well,
kick
we
the
hope we
arse out
do.
of it.
We hope we do.
I'll say that now. You're going to see me in a week's time on a Tuesday kicking the arse out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Bless you. Well,
Oh,
do you
there's
know
that
what?
bloke.
We were doing the bits and pieces earlier on, and we flicked onto a little video of you basically taking the piss out of someone that was gardening in their 30s. So I thought, well, this is going to be fun. Should we talk about the shoes with no shoelaces in? It was brilliant, mate. We were laughing our heads off.
Oh, I'm pleased. I'm pleased. Do you know, it's
Oh, mate.
funny. It's funny with gardening. I've always been like my dad has always been. He's a bit older now, but I remember him gardening, always gardening. He was always out there. His dad, Lewis, I remember him getting ready to go gardening. He'd be
Yeah.
out in his proper bib and brace, and he'd have a shirt and tie on,
That's
and he'd have his
my old
proper.
granddad do that, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, and they used to get and he looked immaculate to go and do the garden.
Yeah.
And the garden was spectacular. And I remember just walking amongst it and I remember as a kid, the smells and all it was always summer around their house for some reason. Do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
It was always bright. And I just think, I remember that it's a gardens. I like the finished product.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I can't.
That's how I earn a living, to be fair.
Well, this
So
is it.
that's all right.
We need people like you that love getting involved.
Yeah.
And then we walk out later on and take all the credit. Go, look at my garden. Look at
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, just invited friends round is fine, isn't it? Yeah.
But I think, but now I'm older. My wife's getting into gardening as well. We've got a garden for the first time, and she's put some new turf down on
Yeah,
the top.
nice.
It's like tiered. It goes up, and then
Yeah.
there's like a rockery and there's a herb bit. So through her getting into it, now I'm like taking a bit more notice, and I understand it now. It's actually good for the old noggin.
Oh, mate, it is. I mean, I was just a naughty boy that sort of got moved from London to Devon when I was 15 and literally left home when I was 16. And I was the kid they went, well, join the army, be a chef or be a gardener for us because you ain't going to do nothing else. And I left home at 16 and literally took a job on a parks department. But my connection with gardening was my grandparents. And it just went from there. It was the old boys that I was around, as you say, the proper old boys that probably guided me, got hold of me by the old scruff and just went, nah, son, don't do that, do that. And I was quite an angry young man. And I just I moved back to London, did more of it. And then eventually I got a job with a fella called Jeff Hamilton, who used to present Gardener's World. And at 21, and he was like years ahead of his time, really. And I don't know, weirdly, the more I did it, the more I loved it. It's just, and even now we've just moved. I've had last week I had 3 days in a digger.
Oh wow!
They should. I tell you what, they should give diggers out on the National Health Service. They should give you. They should give you a digger for 3 days. I tell you, it fixes anything. I reckon.
There's a friend of my wife and her partner. They bought a plot of land and then she's got like a flower farm that she does and they've put a barn on it and it's a massive few acres. And then they took me round to go and have a look, and he's built a BMX track on it. And then and then when we got there, we went, "Where is he?" He's down in the thing, and in the woods there was this like little pond, and he's got himself an rusty old digger from it must be the 60s or 70s.
Yeah. And
he's in the mud, and he didn't even. We were stood there for half an hour. He didn't even know we were there.
He wouldn't do. Oh, mate, honestly, it's amazing. I mean, obviously, Mrs. Frost is over them. I mean, it was a blank canvas when we moved in, but at least it was green. Now it's just different shades of brown. It's like, and the dogs are running in and out the house, and yeah, she's not very happy with me. I'll be honest, but
So what have you done?
I have pointed out you've got to crack a few eggs to make an omelette, haven't you?
Well, this is it. So what you've done is cleaned it, and like you've just cleared it and gone right. We're starting.
Oh,
again.
mate, dropped some levels in, and yeah, I just love it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Whether it's the simplicity of it, whether it's that connection with nature, just having your hands in the soil. I don't know. I do believe there's something innate. There's got to be something innate in all of us,
Yeah.
because that's where we come from. So, you know, that sort of whole, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And maybe what's lovely, and especially as you get older, I think, you know, and the madness that's going on in the world, it just goes at its own pace. You know, it does what it does, and you just have to join in, and you have to play a part, you know, and yeah, I don't know. It's funny, isn't it?
I think that's the thing with nature, isn't it? Like we get caught up in the stresses and the strains of a society or a system that's been placed upon us that isn't, you know, like, you know, everyone's up their eyes in debt, everyone's panicking about this, that, and the other, but nature, like the earth, everyone's going about we're destroying the planet, and you go, yeah, but the planet sort of figures it out and kind of moves at its own pace. Like we're not doing it any good. We shouldn't keep doing what we're doing, but
yeah, what it'll do eventually is it'll just wipe us all out.
Yeah,
it'll start again.
Yeah.
You know,
get rid of this rot.
I've had enough of you lot now. Move on.
Yeah,
you're causing too much trouble. You know.
Yeah, and I think that. But you're right. You're saying that like nature does move at its own pace, and when you're like we've started again. I've got 2 grown boys, but I've now got another. I've got a little 2-year-old. So he's all diggers and tractors.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And but through that, I've been watching a load of farming programs. So I'm like, I didn't realize they did that. I didn't realize that, you know, they planted them at this time, so then they grow at that time.
Yeah.
And with your gardening, there's so much planning that goes into it.
Yeah. I suppose there is. I mean, we have to be a little bit more reactive now because of climate change and whatever. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's just one big experiment. Really, all you do is you go out, you have a go, you experiment, and you play with lots of things. You know, you plant stuff. Some of it lives, some of it doesn't, and you keep doing it, and it occupies time, and then all of a sudden you have a moment of magic. And I think in reality as well, that's what gardening is. It's just a series of moments, moment. You know, like it could be that, I don't know. I was out there yesterday. Yeah, I was out there yesterday, and I saw a load of fieldfare. You know, birds, like, you know, and you don't see them that often. And then they came in, and I've already heard a nightingale where we've moved to. I've seen a woodpecker. I've got 2 red kites living up in a tree, and it's just all of that stuff. And you go, this is magic, you know, and it's
we've got an hour. So I live in Frome in Somerset.
Yeah.
So
I think I'm coming down there. Yeah,
we do Cheese and Grain on your tour.
I am, and also I saw you're going to you're in Exeter, aren't you? Is that next week?
Yeah, I'm around and about somewhere. Yeah, I'm always around that area. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I think you were at the Corn Exchange or something. I did that on my last leg.
That's a good.
That's a nice place, isn't
it? Cheese and Grain as well is a good one.
It's
a nice place here. But what we've got, I pulled up the other night from a gig, so I got in. Must have been about 2:00 in the morning, and I'm just getting my stuff out of my car. We've got an owl that lives in. He's been there the last couple of nights. He just sits in the tree, and just that there's no one around, and you're just hearing him like, "Ooh!" And it's amazing.
Yeah, it is, mate. It is amazing.
I never thought that I would be touched by something like that. Like you mentioned earlier. Being a bit naughty growing up, you know, and you got moved away. So
where do you originally come from?
So I'm from Bromley, southeast.
Oh yeah,
and,
wrong side, isn't it? Wrong side, boy.
Whereabouts are you east? Whereabouts in east?
I sort of like East End family, and then they slowly moved out through Essex, really, and out through all of that area, really. My granddad actually was a gun engineer at the Royal Enfield.
Oh, really?
So, and then they lived in sort of Hertfordshire and in Essex, Hertfordshire. All that. Just like a lot of people, really. People just slowly moved out, didn't they?
Yeah, that's it. East went Essex, and then south. all went out to
Yeah.
Kent and that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but when I was growing up, I mean, I got in trouble a bit, but not. It wasn't. I was lucky, but at no point. I would at that point when I was growing up, I was like, gardening. No, I ain't doing that.
No.
That's for us, for
Yeah.
old people. So to get into that, to introduce to that at such a young age, and to be and embrace it so
Yeah, I
much,
think
so
though,
well.
I think though, mate, looking back, my old man was abusive, like. So
Right.
I used to. I mean, we sorted it all out in the end, and we became mates before the old boy passed away. But actually, I used to love being with my grandparents because I felt safe, and I had one nan that I used to call Tidy Nan. And she had this sort of, they had the allotment, and I'd wander up there with Grandad, you know, on a Saturday, like you say, the shirt would go on the tie, the jacket, but it meant, and also I could talk football with him because my old man wasn't interested in football. And then if I wasn't there, I was along the road at Scruffy Nan's, and they had this like overgrown wilderness that backed onto old, because through that Lee Valley, it was all old tomato and cucumber nurseries, you know, and at the weekends you could knock back the fences and you could get into the greenhouses, and it was like running through the tropics. You know, it was like amazing. And so I suppose I went from that thing of growing food to just having this freedom in this green space, and you know, whether it's newts, frogs, making things, smashing things up, and I just somehow managed to build a career, and I'm still doing it now.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely smashing it. And
no, it's mad, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, but to do something like that like a lot of younger people, especially men, would have gone, "Nah, I ain't getting involved."
Oh yeah, I mean, let's be honest, mate. My mates used to take the piss out of me. I played football to a decent level, you know, and I was a goalkeeper, so I was slightly barking, I suppose, but they would absolutely rip the hell out of me. You know, yeah, they would like. But do you know what? Funny, as you said, funny enough, as you got older, all of a sudden, who's first on the barbecue list? Right? When they got the houses, and then they'd sit me in the corner with a pint light and give me a piece of paper and do us a favour, Frosty, design the garden while you're here, will you?
Just design a garden.
Yeah, exactly.
We had a gardener in the other day at a gig, and she was, and I happened to mention, she said, because every time someone goes, I'm a gardener, I always go, I like Capability Brown, and she took me to one side after. She went, how do you know about that? I don't know. I said, it's one of those things that's just stuck in my head.
Stuck with you.
It's an unusual name, for a start, and then doing like what Capability Brown used to do. I think that whole thing, it just.
Oh, mate.
It's like creating that. How do you create that?
Yeah, I know. But how do you convince someone to create that? I reckon he was the greatest salesman God ever put breath into, because he went in and he made a mess for years and years and years, you know. And then when he'd finished, you know, it looked like Toy Town because everything was small. And it's only about 200 years later that those landscapes actually look what they were meant to look like, you know. I saw I did some filming somewhere, and it was a Capability Brown place, and I was lucky enough at lunchtime they let me look through some of the archive stuff, and there was a lovely letter from the lady of the house writing to one of her friends about Capability Brown.
Right.
And it wasn't very nice. And it more or less summed up. It more said, I wish this man would leave and take his mud with him. It's like, it was a wonderful, wonderful letter, you know. But it's that vision, isn't it? I suppose.
But that's it. But imagine saying to someone, "This is going to look really nice in 100 years."
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, you're going to rip out all your wonderful ornate gardens, and we're going to push everything away from. But it was all about fashion,
right?
You know, that's what it was about. It was, you know, oh, yeah, you got to have one of these. Got to have one of these. You know, and that's how he did it, really. Yeah.
So do you find that now? Do you think there are trends in what you do?
I mean, we'll get to the Chelsea Flower Show again soon, and everybody will go, and what's the trend for this year? I'm not really great with all that. I just think that Gardens sort of take too much time. You know,
Mm.
I always say to somebody, you know, if you want to, work up with fashion and in your garden, just change the colour of your cushions or your pots, like, don't,
Yeah.
because actually the layout of your garden needs to see the test of time. You can't just constantly change it.
No.
Yeah, otherwise it's just going to cost you an arm and a leg. So I think definitely what you have found, I suppose, is gardens have definitely gone away from control. It's
Mm.
now about backing off, letting nature in,
Yeah,
not
that's
being,
true.
but then saying that, I will say, I talked about this Jeff Hamilton fella. I went to work for him, over 30 years ago, and he was peat free, he was organic, and he was already talking about destruction that we were doing to our countryside. And
Oh wow.
so again, he was totally ahead of his time, and he was, it feels like to me the world's been playing catch up with Jeff
Yeah, yeah,
Hamilton.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's some of these people they just switched on and
Oh,
out.
mate. Yeah.
And do you find that with what you're doing, like certain the you can see that the atmosphere and everything around it is affecting plants in a different way now?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, mate, if
Yeah.
I look at what I can grow now in the same area, say I moved up here when I was 21, what I can grow now compared to what I would have put out, I don't know. So last house, first thing that's coming to mind is something called a Chilean guava, all right,
Right.
which is called Ugni. Um, 21-year-old me would have put that out my front garden, near Stanford, sort of bottom end of Lincolnshire, and after the first winter, it would be dead.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
back against south facing wall, absolutely fine. So what's ultimately happening is everything's slowly moving north.
Mm.
That's and yeah, I suppose when you're connected to it every day, and you have been since you were knee-high, then you notice things, don't you? I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course. So when you're
Yeah.
so when you're planting things in your garden, like for instance, like you've got a blank canvas now in your
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
Do you have to plant things in a certain place in the garden, or can you just sort of it's all right?
No, I
Um,
tend to build in layers, mate. The different things will be going around in my head is I'll build my gardens in layers. So I'll get the design done, and then the trees will go in. Then I come down to the shrub layer. Then I come down to like the herbaceous perennial layer, which is all your flowers, and then I'll do the bulbs and the culms, and then around that I'll do the boundary stuff. So I build everything in layers. So the more you break it up, the easier it is to understand.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
when
yeah.
it comes to planting, I suppose some of it is about just pushing a little bit, taking
Right,
the odd
yeah.
experiment and just thinking. But also now, when you think about it, you can buy a tree. If you can buy a tree now and
Mm.
you can work out how much carbon that tree is going to lock down in its lifetime.
Yeah,
So you
right,
so
okay.
you can actually be that selective. You can go, you can do research, see what, if you think about the trees that have got problems, things like the ashes, the larches, even the oaks
Mm.
are under threat, and but actually, there is trees that they think are going to be good for the future, whether they're right or not.
Yeah,
No one really knows. But again, you can be a lot more mindful now than
yeah.
you probably could have been 15, 20 years ago.
Got you. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
find it amazing when there's. Well, I find it sad actually, and I know it's it's people have they need to build stuff or whatever, or they just bought a house and they go, oh, that tree's right in the way. We
No,
need to
mate,
get
don't.
rid of it, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not the tree that's in the way.
Yeah,
It's we're in the
yeah,
way. The tree's fine,
exactly,
you know.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can imagine, couldn't you? I was last night. I did one of my things I say on my tour, like because I mean it's not your average garden tour, I suppose, really. But
Yeah.
but one of the things I say is when I die, I want to come back as like the shrub and tree fairy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what I do, like before you take on a new house, I've got my little wings and my Sharpie, and I've got little tags, yeah, with a little
Yeah.
string, nice quality ones,
Yeah. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
day before you move in, I fly around your garden and I put price tags on everything.
Right. Okay.
And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, when you realise you just cut down something that if you had to replace, it would cost you 500 quid, 5,000 quid, 10,000 quid.
Yeah, mate.
Then people might just slow down a little bit and go, oh, right, yeah. All right, there's a
Yeah,
value in
yeah.
that, isn't there? And I think that's the problem is we don't necessarily put the value on
No,
things that we should do. You
I think
know.
you're right. It's that. It's yeah, yeah, yeah. I know exactly what you mean. It's like them fellas that cut down that tree.
Oh, mate,
I
what was
mean,
that all about?
that just I can't even begin to what to think. I don't know what went through their heads
How
to
did that
go.
conversation? Yeah, how
Yeah,
did that
yeah, yeah, exactly.
conversation
Yeah,
start?
like
You and
we've
me
all
are
had.
sat in the pub, right? We're
Yeah,
sat in the pub. All right, we might have had a few. And I goes to you, you know that sycamore. Should we go and cut it down?
yeah. That's
And the other
exactly
one
how
went.
it.
The
Yeah,
other one went. Yeah, that's a good idea.
yeah. What
What?
I mean, what I mean, is it because they're spiteful? Because it was so
I don't know.
cherished? Yeah, it's every time I see it pop up.
It fathom. Yeah,
Yeah, I can't
yeah.
get my
It's
head
one of
around it.
them. You go like, yeah, you sort of. Yeah, I didn't believe it when I first heard it. I
Yeah,
think
right.
it's winding me up. Is it April Fool's Day? Is it
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
why would someone do that?
But I think that's the problem, innit? A lot of human beings just do stuff that is shit,
Yeah,
and for no
yeah,
reason other than to be a shit person.
yeah.
And that's after problem, like with what's going on in the world at the minute. And you go,
Oh, mate.
surely there is a bit of you that goes, oh, actually, this isn't in the long. Well, they don't, do they? In the long run, this is going to fuck us all up if I do this.
Yeah.
But they don't think like that, do they? They just
No,
go,
they don't.
no,
Because again, you think about it. We're all right. We're here as human beings. We come. We play our little part. You know, we have a family. You know, then we maybe have grandchildren. Surely the prime thing is to maybe leave the place a little bit better than when you found it.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And then let's be honest, we're all here for a very short period of time, and in the bigger story, we're not really that important. So, why can't we just all jog along? And
I know. It's exactly. I saw a video this morning actually, and it just said, "Look, we're only here for 5 minutes,
yeah,
and we're too busy worrying about this, that, and the
yeah,
other. We're in
yeah,
100 years. None of us will be here. None of this will matter.
nah,
So surely, like you said, we should just." And there was a song by Paul Weller, I remember, and he just said, "Like, this is just borrowed. It's just borrowed ground.
yeah.
We're just
That's
on it
exactly,
for a bit,
exactly, mate.
you
That's
know."
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. There's some. I mean, there's some intelligent. There is. We have got some wise old people about that. But those voices don't get heard, do they? You
no.
know.
No, and did this other thing as well? When you do get an illness that it could go either way. That I think that kind of changes your mindset to stuff as well. It kind of makes you realise how fragile
Yeah,
it is to be a human being.
yeah.
Did that affect you a
Yeah,
bit? Like kind of like, oof, hang on a minute.
yeah. I think I mean, I've had different periods of my life when, I've been diagnosed with burnout or depression and things like that, and there's normally been something that's sort of happened that's just checked me, and
Yeah,
and I have talked to a lot of people. I've seen the psychiatrists and I've seen the psychotherapists and all those sort of people. But I think the biggest thing is when any time you feel like you're going in that direction, is put your hand up, and we just don't do
yes,
it, do we? As blokes,
no,
which is I don't know. It's especially now. I get it to a point with like our old man, our dads and our granddads. I sort of, but I think for us lot now, it's the help's there. All right, it's
yeah,
not always straightforward, but and people are not going to think you're an absolute, this, that, or the other because you've put
no,
your hand up. And yeah, like you, I'm sort of definitely go around shouting about it because I just think that we could all help. Well, it's that same thing, isn't it? It's just we could all help each other a little bit,
yeah, yeah. Especially like you say, people like working class people,
Oh,
especially
mate.
it seems, and
Yeah,
especially like people that say, the people that go to the football on a Saturday, and there might be a bit of a conversation, but there's still a feeling of I don't want to, I don't want to look like a knob
no,
if I.
I know.
And I
Yeah,
think that those are the people that we need to try and get to. I think it's starting to happen. I know it's definitely starting to happen, but
yeah. It's
you
it's
know,
interesting. My boy, I got what my oldest boy is 27, and my youngest is he's 18. and then they'll talk.
Yeah.
They'll talk. The oldest needs a couple of jars, but he will open up and he will talk. So I don't know. Yeah, it's
I think you're right. I think you're
yeah.
right.
So
Yeah.
we seem to be that. I don't know. Maybe we are the conduit to the. Maybe our generation is the link to the generation that will. I don't know. I hope so. But
I think that's exactly it. I think we're it seems to be we're the first generation, really, Gen X, to kind of
yeah,
go, hang on a minute, we're gonna need to talk about some shit here.
yeah,
But it does help the older generation, like you say, the younger ones. Like I've got two sons, are 28 and 33,
yeah,
and they talk. So when I've had the new little boy,
yeah,
and my middle son had not an issue with it, but
yeah,
we had a proper conversation,
yeah,
but he was able to. He went, look, Dad, I'm just a bit jealous. That's all. He goes, I'm just, you were a bit of a, you were mucking around a bit when you had me.
yeah,
And now he gets a different version, and he goes, and that upsets me a little bit. But we had
yeah.
the conversation, and it was
Yeah,
nice.
exactly that.
Yeah.
Exactly that. And
Yeah.
which I suppose I have those conversations with my boys really. And weirdly, like I would say that my lads are my mates.
Yeah, same.
I know like me and my old man became mates in the end, but it was definitely towards the end. It wasn't sort of, it wasn't sort of now, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Did you feel did it feel like quite cathartic to sort of be able to talk about that with your dad? We don't need to go into details of what.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I did the classic. You would talk about the working class thing. I mean, we didn't talk for years, and I did the classic like as a at a family event, like, and he come walking over and, can I have a word, son? And obviously I conducted myself really well, and called him everything from a pig to a dog, and nearly took his head off.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when everybody left him and I sat in a bar, and you know what? Weirdly, he just more or less said, I wasn't a very good dad to you, was I, boy? No. And he said sorry. And weirdly, the moment he said sorry, to be fair, within 6 months of that, he was up working for me. So he ended up working for me. And and weirdly, the relationship changed because he would still drink a lot, and if I paid even that, like, weirdly, like, if I paid him all his wages at once, I wouldn't see him for 4 days. So it's like, Dad, there's a couple of quid, have a nice weekend, but can we be back Monday, please? But actually, again, though, the more I got to know him, I always talk about it. The funny thing with him, talking to him, would always be, I would call it like the tomato or the egg conversations. And what I mean by that is 10 o'clock tea time, because I had the landscape company for years. 10 o'clock tea time, in the morning, 10, half 10, his flask would come out. He'd normally have like a couple of tomatoes. He'd cut the tops off them and then pour about 3 tons of salt in them. Or he'd have a couple of hard-boiled, eggs, cut the top off them, peel them and eat them. So, they were tomato and egg conversations, And to be fair, in the end, we talk about everything. And I learned a lot about him.
Yeah.
And he, like all of us, he had his crap he had to deal with, and he didn't know how to talk, so he, thought that he'd lose himself in a can of special brew. And we know that ain't going to be a good, I mean, we went, I worked with him a little bit, when I was 17. And we used to do a bit of contracting work. So you'd get paid on a meterage. All right. Yeah. And we would lay turf, and we would do it on new sites. And he'd come and pick me up, and the old boy would, like, the car would stink, like, So I'd say, Dad, get in the other side. So he'd get in the other side, and then we'd get to site, right, and we'd rake the ground one day, and we'd lay the next day, and he'd flip the boot, and he'd get out like 4 cans of special brew, and he'd lay them up the garden,
right.
And but the most bizarre thing, I think somebody after 4 cans of special brew would want to sit down quietly in a corner. He got faster.
No.
He got faster, mate. Literally.
How? I
So
would have been
I
annihilated.
exactly. So what we'd do, like there was a lad called Satch. He would lay the turf out in front of me. I'd be on my knees on the boards, pulling it in, pulling it in, pulling it in, and the old man would be in the rake behind you, like tapping it all in, like
Yeah.
And obviously we were getting paid, this yardage, so we would smash a load of it down. But yeah, he would seriously every time he got to a can, he'd drink it, and then he'd push on to the next can. And then he'd push on to the next can. I go,
That's what
Dad,
it
like. I mean, in the end, bless him, part of this big old sort out was you've got to go easy, boy.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause,
Especially
you know,
special, bro.
Oh, mate. I mean, he did stop drinking it, to be fair. He did.
Yeah.
He did. Like, but yeah, that's dangerous, isn't it?
I mean, that's obviously why I was getting faster. Because he's like, he knows the next can's on the way.
Cans, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I used to look at him and think, like, that would kill most people.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
mate.
It was like to him, it was like Red Bull, wasn't it? It's like,
you become galvanised.
Exactly. Bless him.
But talking, like, in the end, you were able to talk to your dad about what's going on.
Yeah.
And then when they start to talk to you, and then you realise where that shit came from.
Yeah.
Why they were like my old man. My old man was. I couldn't want for anything when I was growing up. And my old man was brilliant, and he's still with us. But he's 80 now.
Yeah.
I went round there the other day. Every time I go round there, he gives me. He's like, "Hey, I have these books, or I have this, I have these records, I have this, I have that." And the last time I went round, and he goes, "I just want you to know." He goes, "I'm not preparing for death. I'm not getting rid of. It's just that this is all clutter to me now." He goes, "I've enjoyed it. And now I want it to go." And then he just started telling me about his childhood. And I always knew his mum was a problem. She was an horrible woman.
Yeah.
And he goes, she used to just abandon me, and she used to isolate me from everyone else. And he's telling me all this.
Weirdly, that's more or less the same sort of yardage with my old man. Yeah.
Yeah. They went through all that abuse themselves, didn't they?
Yeah, and then and again, I suppose it's that he didn't manage to break the cycle, but at least I understood, and and weirdly, do you know what? I miss the old sod. Like, and it's funny, isn't it? Because I'd sort of all this stuff that I've done, since. I mean, he managed to come to my first. He was in a wheelchair at the time. He had a stroke. He had a stroke while he was working for me, to be fair, but my first Chelsea garden, he arrived in a wheelchair, this is quite really he pushed himself up out of his wheelchair on the corner of this garden, and just looked across me, and as only your old man can do, just literally just nodded,
Yeah, right.
like it went, and then sat back down in his chair, like, and. Yeah, it was quite there was a lot being said without anything being said, But yeah, funny, isn't it?
It is funny, isn't it? You could just tell. Like my dad, this is what my life. I've just made mistake after not mistake after mistake. Yeah. I've just kind of ricocheted through.
Yeah, it was
no plan.
Yeah,
and then I ended up being a comedian, and I've been doing it 22 years now, and I can tell he's proud of where I've been and what I do.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to say it. He just like that. He just gives me a nod.
Yeah, funny, isn't it?
He's like, well done. Yeah. You can just tell. I don't need it to be gushing. I mean, my mum still says you getting paid. That's the.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, let's be honest. That's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the end of the day. But when you started doing television and things like that, I mean, that's next level. That's how did you?
But again, with you, it was never a plan. It was never like it was. I mean, I joke now. I reckon I'm getting paid for what I was getting bollocked for at school, which is just, messing about and telling stories, and I'd get sent outside the classroom. I'm dyslexic, and it just you sort of messed about a bit and become the class clown, and and now I'm getting a few quid for doing it. But I don't know. It just I don't know. There was never a plan. A bit like you, really. I carried on working. And I probably never said no. And if I said no, Mrs. Frost said, "You're going." That's pretty much how it, So I have got to put a lot of it down to her, really.
It's funny, isn't it? There's that old saying, like behind every
Oh
behind
yeah,
every bloke, there's a woman rolling her eyes. Or
yeah,
something like
exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Yeah,
that.
bless. But
But that's it, and it like I think you a couple of things there. Firstly, not saying no to anything, just in
yeah,
life in general, really. If something comes along and says, "Do you want to come and do that?" I go, "Yeah, go on then," because you
have a
never know where
go.
you never know where you're going
No,
to end up, do you? And you mentioned
no. Well, if you
dyslexia as
take
well,
you
didn't
back like
you?
30 years and said you're going to earn a living making
No,
people laugh,
I would have said, "No, mate, don't be stupid. That ain't happening.
yeah,
That's never going to happen." It was
yeah,
ridiculous. And you also mentioned dyslexia. Now, when we were growing up, you know, dyslexia was around, but and like now we've got ADHD and we've got all these other things,
yeah.
but none of those things were talked about, were they? Really, and
No,
any
it weren't,
sort of
mate.
you were just you
No,
if you weren't able to get on with what you were given, you were just kind of taken out and put somewhere else, wouldn't you? Sort
yeah,
of in
yeah.
another in
No,
section.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
my two youngest have got ADHD. In fact, like he's the 18-year-old is. I mean, bless him. He's. If I'm honest, about 8 months ago, I quite happily killed him.
Right.
But he's found his way a little bit. He's now training to be a stonemason, and this
Oh
boy's carving,
wow.
and he's turned into a different lad. But a prime example. But he's worked out that he can use the ADHD to his advantage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
I
so he
think yeah,
plays on it a little bit, and he works his mother with it. You know, but the other
yeah.
day he came home. He came home and used he used the last lot of the milk in the fridge. After about 4 conversations and using the last lot of the milk, I said, "You've done it again." Well,
Yeah.
he said, no. He said that's what I do because I've got ADHD.
Oh yeah.
I said, no. It's not what you do because you got ADHD. That's what you do because you're a selfish little. Well, and then he looks at me all offended. You know, bless him. It's like,
Nothing.
son,
Yeah.
no, you knew not to use the last of the milk. But
Yeah.
bless him. But yeah, they're good kids. They're good kids. But yeah,
But did you have
they're
it
living
when
in
you?
different times, aren't they?
Well, this is it. It's like this is now. I mean, look, we talk about being working class, and that
Yeah.
it's very different now. Where our lives are would kind of be considered more upper middle class, or
Yeah,
lower
I mean,
middle class. So
yeah, my to be fair, my oldest boy and he's quite. I mean, he's a bright lad, and he's just qualified to be an architect. I mean,
wow.
he's probably not even mine, to be honest. But there you go. It's sort of like with that intelligence. But actually, interestingly, and he reads a lot, and he's a very sort of thoughtful, considered young man, and when I'll talk about my past, he'll say that I can't understand it. I don't understand it. He said I have not lived that life. And what you said, he said, I've had a middle class existence, being honest, And I about you working class, because probably my world's a bit weird. There's a lot of middle and upper class in my world, and I would say
Yeah.
one of the biggest things that I've probably. Imagine me first turning up at the Chelsea Flower Show.
Yeah.
I mean, they really wanted me there, didn't they?
All right, how's it going? All
Yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah. So, but actually, that's one of the biggest things that I suppose I've dealt with is that sort of class snobbery, which is I think again is something that's not talked about enough in this country.
No.
There's sort of a working class lad now, and but having to maneuver your way as a working class lad up into a middle and an upper class world
Yeah.
is weird, because you end up in a place of. I talked about this to the psychiatrist, funny enough, when I first did it, was you end up in like no man's land, because you sort of, they don't really want you, but also you sort of, in a way, you've left your mates, because how'd you go back down the pub and tell what you been doing this week? Oh yeah, I had a cup of tea with Prince Charles, and I had a walk around his garden, and I've done this, and then because you look a complete dick, so you can't say that. So you end up in this vacuum, and
Yeah.
weirdly, and I wasn't really. That all came out when I was sort of talking about. When I got 21, I got diagnosed with a burnout and a depression. But I learned so much from doing it. And now I go, oh yeah, I get it. Actually, no. And actually, with my mates that I've known for years and years and years, they're going, Frosty, so who you seen this week? Where you going this week?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So I coach now with a load of football lads. And lads, and there's 4 of us. We look after the town sort of under 18s, like, you know. And I walked in the changing rooms, and I said, "How's the week's been? How's the week's been?" And one of them's getting divorced, like, so he said it's been a bit better. It's been a bit better, but you know, this, that, and the other. And Dave, like, he's a mate that I've known for years. He's level. You know, he's a bit like if you imagine, like, Dave is sort of a bit like Trigger.
Right.
You know, he stands in the corner, and he's like, he's lovely, you know, and then you got Mark, the manager, like, you know, and so and they had, you know, one's a painter, decorator, this, that, the other. What are you up to? What are you up to then? I said, well, tomorrow night, lads, after the game, I'm at Ronnie Scott's because Ruby Turner's invited me. And then what are you doing the weekend? I've got Manchester. I'm morning live on Friday, and then I'm going to the Brits on Saturday night. And they just go to me, you absolute cock. And it's lovely because they like, and they'll message me and go, you know, how's it going? What you done? And now, because I don't feel embarrassed about it now, and I just think, actually, at some point in time, I will be asked to leave the building. so just enjoy it.
Always looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, until I get marched out of the building, just enjoy it. So, but it's funny, isn't it? It's what the brain does to you over.
But you've earned it. You've earned the place. That's
yeah,
the thing.
But even that, you say that, I get a bit like, ooh. Yeah.
Like it's been a mistake. Like they've given you the keys.
Yeah.
I know you're not supposed to have them. You're supposed to be for that.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. How'd you end up in here?
What are you doing in here? We talk about that about imposter syndrome a bit, and I've had conversations with other comics about that, and they were saying to me like, "Oh, do you have it?" And I went, "Not anymore. I used to."
Yeah.
But now, like I've just said to you, I feel I've slogged my guts out. I've worked really hard.
Yeah.
I've gone through 4 cars in all the mileage I've done.
Yeah.
To earn my place. And so so now, like that, you go, no, it's just I'm supposed to be here. Although, when I'm in situations like that, and there's you know, you're talking to you know, people you perceive in your stupid head as sort of above you. You kind of go,
and the reality is they're just all human beings.
They're all human beings. And as we're learning from the news, a lot of them are a lot lower than us. Anyway, we won't get into that.
Exactly, mate. Yeah. Just in case we both get the sack. We move on quickly. Exactly.
I don't want to ruin your career already. How was that podcast? Hey,
I've got a statement ready. Don't worry.
So you're going on tour.
Yeah.
So how did this come about?
I know. Well, this is my second one. So the first one, someone heard my life story, which is, I suppose it's not without its cul-de-sacs. As you just said, I've bounced from this to that. I've got myself in a few pickles along the way. And I suppose when I stand up and deliver, even my old man's funeral story was a bit like Only Fools and Horses doing a funeral, you know, and all of that baggage, I suppose, like you know, you pick up from being a working class lad, you work, you do the miles, you know, you graft, but you probably play hard as well, which builds you a pocket full of stories. And
true.
So the first one was that, and then I obviously wrote this book after the lockdown, you know, getting diagnosed and that, and talking to the head man and him pulling out of this love of not just why plants, but why music. Who am I drawn to as human beings, you know? And then they said, you fancy taking that out on the road again? And so that's
amazing.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's funny when you talk about, like, you got the job as a gardener. And
mate, honestly,
now you're going on a tour, and I had a look at the dates as well. And I was like, "This is a proper tour. This is
mate,
yeah.
It's proper. Like, I mean, the spring lot we're doing is extended from the autumn, but I still think it's funny. I just think like, why would you pay 2 hours to listen to a gardener?
But you're right, but that's it. But that's the beauty of you, isn't it? You're not your average gardener. You're not.
It's great though. It's like,
You've got you're a combination of so many things, and I think like being able to tell a story or find the funny in the sad things that happen in your life.
you
I
have
think,
to though, don't you?
yeah, but I think that comes from working class thing as well, like trying to make your mates laugh on the site or
Yeah.
in the pub or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
no, you're
you know,
right. Yeah, you are right.
and
Yeah,
you
it's
sort of,
just,
you sort of carve it out for yourself, and you know,
yeah, it's funny, you know, yeah, it's funny, and it's funny as we get, I don't know, we get older and just, yeah. I think as well you become at ease with it, don't you? And then,
yeah.
you know, how do you deal? Because I mean, with I mean, the comedian's life is not. What's the sort of your take on the woke society that we live in?
I find there are people that get ups they get offended for they want to be you know, you haven't really listened to what that person said.
Yeah, yeah,
there's always the intent, and there's always this that, and the other. And then because there was that stuff with Danny Baker, and they were
yeah,
and they were going, oh, he was racist. He goes, no, wasn't what he did. But what he did,
yeah,
that picture that he kept putting up. He kept putting it up all the time, but it just so happened that he put it up at the wrong time with the wrong person, and everyone went, no, and so that fallout from Danny with what happened with him, and I'm like, no, and you know, I was defending him. I was like, no, he's not. That's not. Danny Baker's been in my life since I was a kid, and he's never been anything like that. That's a mistake. What he's done is make a mistake. He's made a mistake. So there isn't. Sometimes when things like that happens, there's not a lot of forgiveness. It's sort of like, no, that's what that was. He's fucked. And there's a lot of that in this industry now, especially what happened the other day at BAFTAs, and which was I mean, I understand everybody. You know, absolutely, those people should have every right to be upset and offended by that, but also we need to understand where John was coming
that
from.
was a proper double-edged sword, wasn't it? Really, in a way.
Yeah. They had every right to be upset, and
because I think the one reason I say it is like with me, it's I'm a gardener, but at the end of the day, you guys, you're really you earn a living by observing society, talking about society, and at times walking the tightrope of what is gonna. And I always think like, that's a tough gig. That is a tough gig.
Well, I think you suss out that you can make jokes about anything, but there has to be, as long as you're not, like they say, as long as you're not punching down, it's you can make jokes about all sorts of things, and a lot of the people that get offended, or a lot of comedians that get upset, go, no, you can't say nothing no more. You go, no, what you were saying was horrible, and now we've learned as a society, but it isn't. It's not as tough as people think it is. It's I mean, the thing is as well, like, so I can't remember who said it, if it might be Frank Skinner or something like that, and he said, like, whatever we're talking about now, there's things that in the future their point of view might go, actually, you can't say that anymore, you can't talk about that. It always changes,
it always changes.
It was illegal to swear, and Lenny Bruce went to prison for swearing on stage, and now we're able to say the C. Well, we don't say the C word if we can help it, but it always changes. So at the moment,
changes.
We're in this massive overcorrection. It'll level out again.
It'll level out again.
And it'll get back more to normality. And then later on, something will happen. It's always changing.
It's always changing.
A lot of my stuff is talking about, like we've just done today. And like you do in your, when you're telling your stories, it's things that happened in your life that are funny, relatable. So what you're doing now, going on tour, doing these shows, is more or less what I do.
Yeah. I mean, people go like, if it all goes, I have loads of people, a lot of the audience, if it goes wrong for you, you could do stand-up. I'm going, nah. I don't mind, like, if people laugh at me telling the story as a gardener, but I don't want to walk out on the stage having to make people laugh. No, that ain't for me, mate.
Like, you've got the framework that you're doing your shows in.
Yeah.
Means it, but if they were to strip that away and go, right, now you got 20 minutes,
Yeah,
Go
you
and
got
tell
20
you.
minutes to go. Yeah. I go, yeah, I'm sure about that. You know, I could probably feel, I could feel a few minutes just by some of the stories. Yeah. I mean, the funeral story would probably,
Yeah.
that could probably fill a good 5 minutes, and people just wouldn't think it was true. They'd think it was complete and utter make believe. But
I'm gonna
I'll
come.
tell you
I'm
that
gonna.
over a pint one day.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. I was about to say I've got a
Yeah.
feeling we're going to meet up for a pint, you and I. And
Yeah, we definitely are.
I'm going to get you up
Yeah.
on stage to do 5 minutes. I'm going to get you up.
Yeah,
at
I'll
some
go and
point.
I do the funeral story for. Yeah, do you know that's what I should do? Should I? I should come to one of
Yeah.
your gigs somewhere and just come and do the funeral story.
I'll come up. I'll
It's-
get you.
it's-
Yeah, there's loads.
That would be funny.
Mate, there's loads of places we can do that. And there's
Yeah,
loads of,
why
and
don't we
they'd
do
love
that?
it.
Why don't we
Yeah,
do that at some point? Yeah,
That'd
let's
be
do that.
amazing.
That would
Adam.
be yeah, that would be good.
right.
Yeah.
That's a date. That's a plan.
That
We're
is a
doing it.
day, mate. I won't back down from that. I won't.
Good
back
man.
down. Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah.
So what we do now? This has been. I could chat to you today, mate. It's.
No, bless you. Likewise.
I had no idea it was going to be because if it's someone I haven't really spoken to, I haven't spoken to before, you're always a little bit like, oh, how's this going to go? Is it going to be? But straight away, it just
Yeah,
bang.
yeah, we probably would have just had a chat in a pub, wouldn't we?
Yeah, that's it. So that's the main body
Yeah.
of the podcast. That's insane in the
Yeah.
brain, right? Oh, lovely. Take it easy, everybody. Nice one.